I think just being around young men, I mean, it kind of keeps you youthful. Jesus Christ is first in our program. Our young men know that. That's a tough question. Out of everything you've asked me, that's the most difficult one. One thing I have been very good at is like I just know God's going to take care of us.
Hi, and welcome to the Ordinary Brave podcast. And today our special guest is Coach Matt Bragga of the Tennessee Tech Eagles baseball team, and we are so thankful to have him here. He has led that team to tremendous success over the years, but more than just success on the field, he has invested in the lives of young men over years here at Tech, and we are so grateful for what he does both on and off the field. So, Coach Bragga, welcome.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm so excited to have you. You and your wife are some of my most favorite people. In fact, while I was driving this morning on the way here, I was reminded of a mini triathlon that we competed against you guys, me and Scott. I don't remember, we kayaked. I think we ran through a cave.
Yeah, rode a bike. Yeah.
And I was like, we couldn't beat the Braggas. And so I was like, maybe we need a rematch one of these days. Although I think that was like 8 years ago. Yeah. I'm moving much slower.
Yeah, me too. I've got a bum knee now. Yeah, no doubt.
So you're saying there's a chance. Yeah. We need to get you now
while
the knee is down.
That is right. Yes.
So tell me just a little bit about just your personal history. Like, how'd you meet your wife, Elisa? And then you can tell a little bit about your family, and we'll jump into the baseball stuff.
Yeah. So I was in my junior year at the University of Kentucky. And I saw this beautiful girl, and I literally told my best friend at the time. I said, "Hey," I told the guy, I said, that's my girl right there. Like that's my girl." So shortly thereafter, I saw her again, and I asked her out on a date. And honestly, that was the history. Her mom had told her, she was a freshman, and her mom had told her, this was like probably 2 weeks into her freshman year. And when she got dropped off at the University of Kentucky, her mom had said, "Hey, don't run off and go marry the first boy you meet." But she kind of ended up doing that. But anyway, so it's just so blessed. And she had transferred to the University of Alabama. She ran cross country and track, and so she had transferred to the University of Alabama. And so when I was kind of done playing collegiate baseball, that's where I went and got my master's at the University of Alabama. And then, we were so blessed. As time went on, we had struggled a little bit to have children. And then as the good Lord would have it in his time, we, had our son Luke, who's now 20 years old, and our daughter Emmy a couple years later. She's now 18, and just been amazingly blessed. They are incredible young people, and we just love them. Whole world's full.
I'm sure you do. And Luke plays on the team.
He does. Yeah, he's a redshirt sophomore for me at Tech and doing a great job.
Well, I think that's special that you guys get to do this together right now as father and son.
Yeah, there's a tough dynamic there because, as Scott, would tell you, with your kids, like you probably are harder on them than you are anyone else. Mm-hmm. And I've even caught myself a couple times this season, where, if he does something at the plate that, hey, you didn't come through, like I'll pull him to the side and kind of get on him a little bit. And I have to be very careful of that because I don't do that to anyone else. The other day, thank the Lord for great assistance. The other day I was ready to take him out of a game, and I went over to one of my new assistants and said, "Hey, what do you think?" And I think Luke needs to come out. And he's like, "Would you do that to any other player on the team?" And I'm like, "No." And so that's a dynamic that as a dad I have to be very careful of. Yeah. And it's probably hard on Luke a little bit, but he's pretty tough.
Yeah. Well, you might remember that my dad was a high school baseball coach, and so my brother played for my dad as well, and that was the same situation. Yeah. He was always so much harder on my brother, and we'd have big discussions about it at the dinner table.
Yeah, I get that.
And
yeah.
Mom and sister were coming to his defense.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
But just those were great years. And, I loved getting to watch him play. But so what year did you come to Tech?
So 2000, in November of 2003, so we were deep into the fall semester in 2003. Mm-hmm. So and so came in and now we left for a little while and now we've been back. So roughly been at Tennessee Tech about 20 years.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's great.
And I remember I think it was 2018 was the Super Regionals
right.
in
Yeah.
Texas, and we made that trip with a bunch of church people to
Yeah.
go see you guys play. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, what do you love most about coaching college
You
athletes?
know, so I think just being around young men, I mean, it kind of keeps you youthful. I mean, you probably see that in the church a little bit, around young people, the youth groups and stuff. Kind of, it's fun. You get to see them dancing and joking around and having a good time, and that kind of rubs off on me a little bit and keeps me in a young set of stage of mind, so to say. But I'd be lying to anybody ever if I said one of my favorite things about college baseball is the winning and losing. A lot of coaches won't admit that. They always say, well, no, it's only about development of young men. It is about that, but to me, it's also about winning and losing. I love the competitiveness. Very few jobs that you get to do in life do you like truly get a W or an L at the end of the day. And my brother's an accountant. He's a CPA, and he always jokes to me. He's like, I can have a bad day in accounting, but like you don't get a W or an L. You can go make up for it the next day and kind of move on. When you lose, it's like you get a loss. When you win, you get a win. So I
Yes.
enjoy that part of my job.
Well, what do you think makes the Tennessee Tech program so special?
Yeah, I think honestly, and there are other programs that I would say. So I don't know this totally sets us apart. But Jesus Christ is first in our program. He's at the center of our program. Our young men know that. So when we recruit young men, Kelly, they'll come in with their families, or whether it's just over the phone, they will always know, hey, when you come to Tennessee Tech, if you end up here, you are, just so you are going to end up, we're going to talk about Jesus Christ. And so just I want you to be aware of that. So when you're making your decision, understand that that's a part of our program. I got a little slap on the wrist. Our administration has been amazing, like over the years, and allowing our program to kind of, they know who we are, right? And they know that's just what we do. But I got a little slap on the wrist many, many years ago. Hey, Matt, maybe tone it down just a little, and so the way we overcame that was in the recruiting process. Hey, just so you know, this is what we're going to talk about and who
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah.
So, and that's a big part. I think that's why we've been able to accomplish so much, because he can do anything.
Yes. Well, obviously, your faith is important to you. So, how did you come to faith?
I very fortunate. I don't have this amazing story, Kelly. Like, hey, I was, this, and then I became that. I grew up in the church. My mom and dad, had amazing influence on me. And as long as I've known, they've loved Jesus Christ. And so my papa and grandma, my grandma and grandpa, my aunt and uncle, I mean, some of the most strong Christian people that I've ever been around. And so honestly, it's all I've ever known. And I'm like, wow, like, why would I not want what they have? And so I think the influence of my family, and I think that's the great thing about being a mom and dad is, you can't save your child, but you can certainly lead them to the Lord.
Yes.
And that was my story. I was led to the Lord through not just my mom and dad, who are amazing, but my entire family.
That's awesome. What a testimony of your family. So, how do you live out your faith in front of your players? And, you said Jesus Christ is a big part of your program. So, how does that work in baseball?
Yeah, so we'll just literally a lot of times it's not even planned. Like we'll have just when we have meetings and we're talking, and our guys know, like, so for Tennessee Tech to go to a super regional per se, as we did in 2018, and have the goals and aspirations that we have, one of the reasons that I believe that we can accomplish those things is what I said a few minutes ago. It's because Jesus is the center of our program, and with him we can do anything. It's not necessarily that we're more talented than everybody else, or we recruit better or coach better. Certainly not. It's that we have him as the center of our program. And so guys just hear about Jesus in our program. It's not like necessarily this planned out thing where, okay, on Tuesdays we're doing this, on Wednesdays we're doing this, and on Fridays we're doing this. I think it's kind of like a family, and you're like, they need to see Christ through me as their head coach and then our staff. And then hopefully that example kind of rubs off on them as in their time while they're at Tennessee Tech. Our guys, we have amazing young men, and I think it's through the recruiting process, character, getting to know them. but our guys do an optional devotion on Thursday nights that they run. And it was started by Chi Alpha, a Christian organization on campus, and Tom Famer, it was the guy that started it. And anyway, he got it going, and him and his family went on a mission trip. I think they're in Africa right now. So our guys have just kept it going by themselves. And we have a 36-man roster this year, and there are Thursday nights where we have upwards of like 28 of our 36 guys there optional. So it's much deeper than just the head coach and even the assistant coaches. It's within our players.
That's awesome. So obviously playing sports, but especially at the collegiate level, it can be stressful. It can be intense. So how does faith keep you grounded in all of this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it does. It puts it in perspective because, as I mentioned, a few minutes ago, like, hey, winning and losing, that's exciting and fun. It absolutely is. But like right now, Kelly, we're 8-12. So we have 8 wins, 12 losses, and that's way more than kind of what we're used to. And so it's one of those things where it's like, I think if you're so caught up in this world, in the wins and the losses, it would be very easy to be really down right now. I mean, honestly, we played a great game yesterday, but even so, it'd be easy to be down. But when you're rooted in Jesus Christ, it's so much bigger than a little old baseball game with a bat and a ball, Right. And so luckily, my faith over the years has kept me in a good spot. I've been fired before, and I never balked at that. I'm like, hey, it's God's plan, and we'll move on, and everything will 100% be okay.
So you were talking about just the faith dynamic on the team. I think I've seen some pictures recently of players getting baptized.
Yeah, we've had, in the last 3 years, we've had 10 guys get baptized in our program. And so we've been very, very blessed by that. And, so that's probably honestly out of anything. And again, it's much deeper than my influence. Tom Fancher was kind of got the ball rolling with that Thursday night thing. So he has had my assistant coaches, my dad and our assistants have had it, and then the players themselves. And so this isn't just a Coach Bragga thing. It's just rooted in our program. And to have 10 guys in the past 3 years get baptized is something I'm extremely proud of.
Do you have some kind of program where I think I heard a lady that goes to Life Church talking about it, that maybe they've adopted a baseball player and they're pouring into him. Can you explain maybe what's going on behind the scenes with that?
So it's the home and away program, and basically these people outside of our team, just families from the community, have come in and adopted. We have like 12 guys that, hey, we want to be involved in this. And because most of those guys are further from home, they're a long way from home, and they just kind of need a second home, so to say. And that's kind of what's happened. And it's been amazing. Those people, our guys are able to call on them. Hey, we've got an issue with our car, and they're there to help them. And what a great opportunity for our players, but also for those people to be able to influence and have an impact on our guys.
Yes, I know this is the Mullins family.
Yeah.
They were just sharing with that. And I know they have had a blast with their player.
Yeah.
And just loving on him, praying for him. And of course, they love the team. But it's a great way for the community to get involved.
No question.
So just thinking back over your years of coaching, which you've had many, is there some standout moments for you that you're like, man, this was one of the most powerful moments spiritually, or you can even share one that was just exciting?
Yeah. You hate to always go to 2018 because that's your best team, your super regional team, etc. But that was an amazing time for Tennessee Tech and Tennessee Tech baseball, and then for me personally, because coaches, put a lot of work in. People, like, it's so funny, Kelly. Like, if someone say, "Hey, so what is it you do?" Like, you coach, and then are you off? Like there's so much you do. But if someone were to really ask you, sometimes it takes me a minute to, okay, hold on, let me go get my job description, so to say. But but it in 2018. We were fortunate enough to win like a whole bunch of games and lose not very many. And we were one game from the College World Series, which is the pinnacle of college baseball. So probably the highlight would be that moment in terms of the good. I do think another highlight is, I got fired. My family and I moved to Houston. We went to Rice after that 2018 season. And so went in there in 2019, 20, and 21. So we were there right in the middle of COVID. College baseball at that point. My family and I were there for 35 months, and we had 20 months of what's called a dead period. That's when you cannot recruit off campus or on campus. You can only make some phone calls. And so it was a tough time to get the right players because COVID and everything was basically dead period. And they weren't happy, I guess, with what was going on. I had a 5-year contract. They fired me before 3 years were up. And I look back at that and I'm like, such, like that, like I never wavered in this. Like, sure, I was sad. Our daughter Emmy had a middle school graduation the night I got fired, and it's so easy. I'm like, oh, I told Elisa, my girl, I'm like, I don't really want to go. Like, do I have to go? Because everyone knows when at Rice University when you get fired. So, but I sucked it up and went anyway. But God was so like just. So good throughout that time. He put us at a spot. We moved to Auburn, Alabama at the time. One of my very good friends is the head coach at Auburn. And so we ended up at Auburn and had an amazing, basically, year there. And then to heal with great people around me. And then we were fortunate enough to come back to Tennessee Tech, which was obviously a major highlight.
Well, I think all of that probably happened because everybody here in Cookeville was praying, praying you'd come back.
Oh, you're sweet.
But I know it was, a tough time, but probably a time where you also felt very close to the Lord, because I know when we go through hard things, you just feel His presence in a way like none other.
No question about it. Like, there's no question about it. And this is going to sound braggy, and I don't mean for it to, like, because I fall short in a lot of ways. But one thing I have been very good at is like I just know God's going to take care of us. Like I do. I just when we were trying to have kids and it took us a little while, I'm like, I know it's going to happen. Like I know it's going to happen. And then in His time it did. With this situation, like know something great's going to come of this, and it did.
Yeah. God's so faithful, but I mean, you've got that faith in Him too, which is, it's like a childlike faith. Like, hey, I'm just trusting that He's going to take care of this. And that's awesome. So when your guys leave Tech, what's the biggest takeaway that you hope that they walk away from the field with?
That they number one, that they like are believers in Jesus Christ. Like that's the number one hope, because I worked for a coach one time. I was at Birmingham Southern. His name is Brian Shoup, and he is outside of my family, my biggest mentor. And he just loves Jesus Christ. And he would tell the team, he'd say, guys, we could go, we play 56 regular season games. He goes, guys, we could go 0-56. But if we have one guy come to the Lord this year, it's a win. And I think, for me, he's like, he means that. Like for me, like 0-56, like I don't know, coach. Like, but like that is truly, like having someone like that in your life. It's what it's all about. And the older I get, the more I understand. Like that's it. I mean, this life's going to come to an end. It's very short. It's finite. Like there's going to be a next life, and let's make sure that these guys know what that looks like, so they can be saved and go spend eternity with Jesus Christ. And so like that's number one. And then with that, I think, I hope that they see me as a great husband and a great father. And because that would be my prayer for them. I want these guys to leave and be joyful husbands and joyful fathers for their families, and understand that that's the next priority over any work-related thing you could ever do.
Right. Well, how can the community come alongside you, support the team, support you guys and what you're doing?
It's tough. I mean, honestly, and I say that's a tough question. Out of everything you've asked me, that's the most difficult one, because I don't really have an answer, Kelly. We have great young men that deserve to be supported, and not just because I think they're really good players, but because I think they're great people. And so coming out to games right now, they're free. I think this is a good thing. I think that's going to change next year. They're going to start charging admission. At least that's what I think. It's not 100%. But I think coming out to games and supporting them, we've been getting great crowds, which is awesome. They deserve that. We have this is a financial thing, so it's not that big. I don't mean but we have a dugout club. Like that's a way to support our program, which is a great thing. And we've got a bunch. It's just started. It's been about not even 2 months, and we've got probably 50 members, which is amazing, honestly. So those types of things. And then more than anything is just like, forget coming to games, forget joining the dugout club, like pray for our team.
Yeah.
And pray that, these young men, number one, will love Jesus, let his light shine through them. If they don't know him, they'll come to him. Protect our team. Give us courage and strength to go into any battle on and off the field. Those types of things. I think that's, and then for their futures, their future, finding their right bride and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So prayer support would be the biggest one.
Well, how does somebody join the dugout club? Is it online?
Yeah, it is. Actually, if you go to our baseball homepage, and there, like, how you can click down on the click down arrow over there, there's a schedule, there's a roster, there's stats, then there's a thing down at the bottom that says more. Click on more, and then the dugout club is right down there at the bottom of our TTU Sports baseball page.
Well, we'll try to link that to the podcast, so it'll be
Awesome.
easy maybe for people listening and watching.
No problem if you can't.
Just to join, but. Well, I really appreciate your time being here. I know you're a busy man, and we will be praying for your season and these young men. And we just appreciate just your testimony and the way you live out your faith on and off the field. So appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Kelly. And thanks for having me this morning. And I love your family. I mean, Scott is an amazing guy, and I love Scott, and tell him I said hello.
I will. Well, it's great to see you. Well, thank you so much for joining us today for The Ordinary Brave, and we pray that this story inspires you, and we hope that you'll come out and cheer our guys on the field. See you next time.